Guys, we're doing a podcast. Welcome to Eden Equips and our very first episode. During these podcasts, we're going to be sharing real stories, practical tools that are going to help parents, carers, educators feel equipped on this journey of raising or supporting neurodivergent children and young people. So if you're tuning in with a coffee, if you're in the car, or if you have a rare and gifted quiet moment in your life, I'm so glad you're here. And someone else that I'm so glad is here is Phoebe. And Phoebe is our guest this morning and our very first guest. So Phoebe, thank you so much. And you're so welcome. Phoebe is an incredible human being and a dear friend as well. She's very passionate about helping young people and neurodivergent young people in education, but also more than that of young people and adults and post-education as well. Phoebe has one of the kindest souls you will come across in life, and you will get a glimpse into that today in her work. So Phoebe, so welcome.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Thanks for having me. I feel nervous.
Yeah, fair enough.
Feeling nervous.
Feeling nervous.
Absolutely.
Feeling good. Yeah. No, well, it's gorgeous to have you. It's that funny thing we were just saying that of like when you're really good friends with someone and then you're like, we're talking about our work
This is
as well. Yeah. Professional but cash.
Oh, yeah.
Professional but cash. So Phoebe, tell us a bit about yourself and guess what you do, like with your link to neurodivergent children, young people.
As Beck said, I'm Phoebe. I currently work for Now Group in Belfast. I am a Now Connects and Social Groups coordinator, quite a mouthful. But before I was in this role, I worked in a secondary school, supporting an autistic individual.
Great.
For 2 years. Time of my life.
Oh my gosh.
Never knew I'd go into the SEN sphere.
Right.
Once I started in there, fell in love and thought this is the path for me.
Cool. I love that, Phoebe, and actually even just to pull that out a wee bit. So you never thought that you would end up in this kind of sphere of work.
No.
Which I love, because I think so many people think I have to have had this on my heart since like the beginning of time, or like I have a very personal link to, which many do, and that's beautiful. But I guess, like, how does that journey even happen? So you were a classroom assistant. And then was it just a bit like a, hey, this is the young person you're supporting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Went in, first day, obviously had never worked with an SEN individual in such a depth before. We have family relatives who have additional needs. So I was a bit like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, where do I go? What do I do?
Yeah.
But from day one, me and my people just clicked like no other, and had 2 years of the most fun. I learned so much about myself, which was amazing. And then one of my friends, one day I knew that I needed to progress in my career just naturally. Like I didn't want to leave Side People, but that my friend messaged me and was like, Now Group are hiring, think this would be cool. Never had heard of them before.
Yeah.
Sorry, Now Group.
Yeah.
And it was just a perfect fit.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lovely natural progression. We're going to look into like what Now Group are and things like that. I guess going back to when you started then supporting this pupil and you're in a secondary setting, which I think is really important to pull out, because I think a lot of people often view supporting a young person with any form of additional needs in a primary setting. But obviously these young people should have the right to access every stage and with adequate support.
Absolutely.
What do you think? What did you see as some of those main challenges in it? Because it was and I use inverted commas here, mainstream setting. So what were some of those challenges? Because naturally there would have been some, right?
Yes, with all love in my heart, it's the other pupils where I found were such a main challenge.
Okay.
Obviously in primary school, everyone's just friends. There's obviously you're going to have your natural bickers and stuff, but when you get into those teenage, really like moldable years, that's where puberty happens. It's where personality changes, and that's where people can just get nasty, to be quite frank. And I found a lot of my stress actually came around monitoring the other pupils of how my people would interact, how one person's behaviour would alter their behaviour, etc. So there was most of the time it was actually like being aware, okay, like, oh, they're getting rowdy, therefore my pupil's going to maybe get a bit stressed about that, or vice versa. So that would be such a challenge.
That's really interesting, actually, because I was actually recently talking about this in terms of, because you know the way we'll talk about like the importance of predictability for these young people, like massively. And the question that always, and rightfully so, comes up is, what about the things I can't control?
Yep.
And one of them, actually, really recently, we were talking about this, is people. I can't control people.
Yep. You can control you're going to physics at the same time, you're going to maths at the same time,
but
you
not
can't
the
control what's
people.
happening in those classes.
And necessarily you can, I guess, make it predictable, and like, who's your teacher for this session? And Phoebe is me an adult, am I safe adult?
Yeah.
But young people. So I think that's so curious, because how do you think we would change that? Gosh, like, I know that's such a hard question, because it's person, and you're right. So they're young people, they're going through a really tricky stage in life, because they're figuring out a lot of this development of like identity of self and peer pressure stuff. And as you said, puberty is a huge part of it. So there's going to be natural disruptions. And I don't mean necessarily that. I mean when the nasty happens. How do you think that could ever be do you think it's preventable?
Education.
Right.
Education within neurodiversity.
Okay. So explaining to young people what neurodiversity actually is.
Absolutely. And knowing, and obviously, like, as much as we can say this, and I hate to use the term, but teenagers will be teenagers. Like, we obviously know that that's natural and like part of growth. However, once you're aware of, okay, this is how this person is different.
Yeah.
Let's accept that, rather than ridicule, or rather than see as a form of a difference in a burdenness, if that's even a word, like manner. It's actually such a thing to be encouraged and to be like accepted and loved and used to the most amazing ability, instead of, oh, they're different, let's poke at that. Like, know if everyone knew.
And I do really see that, because like in primary settings as well, like we have these conversations, and young people will, you know, recognize the kid that maybe gets triggered a little bit easier, and they're like, oh, that's a bit of fun, like that's funny. But then actually what I notice in younger kids, when you pull it out and you explain to them, and you actually just teach about being autistic and ADHD and different brains or different physical differences as well, if you just make that part of general conversation,
it changes,
doesn't it?
Everything. Even like my papa is 80 years old and only recently learnt that autism is a spectrum.
Right.
And things that he's actually like, wow, and his language has even changed. I'm like, it's taken for 80 years to get to that point. So start early.
But change can also happen then,
absolutely,
can't it?
Yeah.
And I think it is that, how do you create beautiful acceptance from other teenagers? And you're right, there's always going to be a bit of fun maybe poked at different individuals, and that's then that moment of like making sure we're monitoring that and supporting. But it is that acceptance of, and I wonder, does that come, you think, from how the adults in school also treat that young person?
Yeah, potentially.
Like, do you think they see, because that's how kids and young people learn, they watch how adults interact, because I'll hear from like younger age of like the children would feel that autistic individuals are like naughty or bad because they've heard that language or been like, don't worry about him, he's always kicking off.
Yeah.
And a young person starts to interpret what that means.
Yes.
Whereas, do you think like even in a secondary setting that could be changed even from adults' point of view, do you think?
I believe so. Yeah. And I think it's harder in a secondary setting in terms of you're in periods. You have 40 minutes with said adult, then you're on to the next. It's not primary school where it's one adult and you learn through that. So it's a bit more difficult in terms of the change and the timing. Yeah. Because one teacher could be so different compared to another teacher. So I'd say it's much harder in terms of like the wide variation. However, if there was, I guess, you yourself came in to do training with the staff. So if there was more opportunities like that, maybe something could alter within that, but there's always hope, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess then, so that's one of the main challenges. What were some of the things that really encouraged you in your 2 years there?
Oh my gosh, that people are kind.
Okay.
On the flip side of that, see when you got a pupil sitting next to your pupil who was just a dream, I felt like, there were some days I felt like crying because I was like, oh my goodness. And it's quite sad that it is rarer like to have those moments where the people would be the one to take time to turn their book and be like, here, you can copy mine. Wow, how simple, how easy, but that changed the day for both me and my pupil.
Interesting.
So genuinely the goodness of teenagers as well. Like they just have gorgeous wee hearts that they can come alongside their fellow classmate and be like, here,
And then that
course I'm gonna
shows,
help.
doesn't it, that, yeah, okay, some young people can be quite cruel, but actually, in their heart of hearts, they can be extortionately kind.
Absolutely.
If also given an opportunity, maybe, to be that.
Yeah,
and, like,
absolutely. To be a friend.
yeah, how to be a friend, and actually, you know, you don't have to make anything crazy different. It's just like acceptance, isn't it?
Exactly. As simple as just coming
Right.
alongside and having a great time.
You said in your kind of, when you were talking about that at the start, that you learned so much about yourself.
Yeah.
What were some of those things?
Patience.
Okay. Yeah.
I would never have put myself as well, actually, no, tell a lie. I would have put myself as a patient person, and then beginning in the role, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I have patience in order for repetition. I'm a person, I can't cope with repetition.
Okay,
I really
yeah.
struggle with that.
Yeah,
It's a
fair.
personal one.
I'm with you, yeah.
But then once I settled into that, knowing, you know what, we have time.
Yeah.
Like, of course, it's okay. If this
Okay.
takes an extra 10 minutes,
Yeah.
takes an extra 10 minutes, like, we'll get there.
And like not needing to rush, I guess.
Yes.
Because as
Oh my
adults, we
gosh.
are quick,
Oh.
busy.
My timing brain is like, oh my gosh,
Scheduled.
if one thing is 1 minute past what I was meant to do, I'll have a freaker. So to have that
And do you feel like that's like kind of bled into your like
personal life, 110%.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Just knowing, okay, take each day at a time.
Yeah.
Amazing. And just to also like embrace your like interests. Obviously,
Oh my
special
gosh, I
interests are a big
love-
thing.
yeah.
And it's like, absolutely, I can be well versed on one topic and that I love and I want to talk about it. Like, amazing. Let's share that rather than trying to play all cool and being like, oh, whatever.
I love that though, because that is something actually that's used quite negative for neurodivergent individuals. And you know, if ever I'm doing training and I'll be like, oh, what's 3 words that you'd use to describe autism? Special interest is one that comes up. And I'm like, everybody has a special interest.
Yeah.
This is a human behavior. Yes, this shows up slightly different for neurodivergent individuals in terms of they can retain a lot more information,
Yes.
these incredible individuals,
Oh,
than
brains
we
are
can.
sponges. Yep.
But also, I think it's that thing of something, it's often viewed in a negative light. But I've always wondered if we flip that and viewed it as positive.
It's educational.
Like, it is really educational. And you can also use that to help develop skills around a lot of stuff. Because, like, when I was teaching Key Stage 4 students, so same age as kind of you were supporting, it was, how do we use that to actually aid them? Of like, one of my young people could tell you every fact under the sun about World War One. Like, I mean, he made me look like the best teacher in the world when this topic came up, because people were like, oh, look how much you've taught him. And I'd be like, no, I taught him none of that stuff.
You taught me.
But I was like, imagine him. And he did then go on and do like volunteer work and started working in like our local museum and everything. And I was like, imagine he was so incredible. Like he was so gentle as well. And like, imagine getting him as your tour guide.
Yeah.
You would learn
Bless.
so much.
Yeah.
But as you said, society nearly tells us that's a bit lame, don't be talking about that too much.
Yeah.
But actually that you can turn that up and be like, I love this, and do you want to hear everything I know about it?
Yeah, and I can make a career.
Exactly. Like, I can actually make a career out of this, out of this interest. Now, that's probably something you are then seeing now in your role now
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of some of those things that you're having. So really quickly, Now Group, tell us about them.
Okay, so Now Group is a social enterprise based, the headquarters are in Belfast, and we support adults with neurodiverse conditions, learning difficulties, or any barriers
Okay.
to any form of education or employment, and support them primarily into employment, whether that looks like voluntary, placement, apprenticeship, or full-time paid work. However, I'm on the community side of this, so I have the fun job, I always say. So I get the social groups, I get the day provisions,
Yes.
and we have the best fun. So,
You are out and about.
never
the
stop.
time.
Never
Yeah.
stop. But that's such a thing that whenever we have suitability meetings, it's like, right, what are your interests? We write them down. It's like, right, well, how can we make your path follow along that, rather than, oh, you love computers, yeah, let's put you in retail. That's not going to work.
No, right.
Like, you have to
Because there's
follow
so
the
many things out there now
Yes.
that we can actually look into, of that, like,
There's a Lego store in Belfast.
praise the Lord. How
Come
good
on,
is that?
get them in the Lego store.
But like, also, what a beautiful moment of people who, again, you look at and you're like, well, I can name many human beings who love Lego.
Yes.
But if you have a special interest and you're able to like create in such a beautiful way, it's like, okay, let's create opportunities for these individuals. Something I'll hear a lot, and I know this is like a big conversation, but just even quickly, is there's no provisions.
Yep.
There's no support for post education. And I'm aware, and I don't ever want to diminish the fact that there is not enough support, and the support isn't clear. I think that's a big thing of like when I hear conversations of being like, well, what happens to my young person?
Yeah, the signposting isn't clear.
Signposting is not great. What would you recommend somebody who came up to you and said, my young person is 14 and I'm really nervous about in 2 years they might leave school provision, or they're 18, whatever age. What can you offer me?
Oh my gosh, everything.
Okay.
Which is so exciting. So as within Now Group in general, we can support people from 16. Our youngest participant is 16, oldest 74. So there is no.
Oh, I didn't even realize that myself.
Which is gorgeous. We have obviously our day provisions. It is catered for those who are school leavers.
Okay.
They come in, it's the soft skills. So it's those who are not quite ready for employment. We have two transitional services. So you start off in one to progress to another, to then progress if this is your path in employment. And it will be money management, route planning, how to get bus, personal hygiene, cooking. It'll be all those things. We always say it's the things that would be beneficial to learn in school but is not on the curriculum.
Yeah, but the system's not doing that yet.
Yes.
Right.
So learning those in order to then flourish, whether that be into the world of employment or whether that be into the world of, we also have essential skills, numeracy, literacy classes, get your OCN levels, get your level 1, level 2, level 3.
Okay, yeah.
Right up to A-level based
Unreal.
grades, which is amazing. We also have our social groups, which is my niche, which is also just the fun side of things, because it's like you leave school or tech or wherever you are, and it's also like, well, I also graduate from my football team. I also graduate from this.
So much ends, doesn't
yes,
it? Yeah.
where we have 18 social groups currently.
Wow.
Football, art, drama, fandom, which is our big one.
Yes, I've seen
the
all of
gamers.
that. Yeah, I love
great.
that.
Yeah, so there's so much to be offered, and that's just us.
Right.
There's so many out in Belfast alone.
So how do I get, if someone's watching this episode and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that exists, how do I contact you? Or Now Group,
so www.nowgroup.org.
Lovely.
Is the place to go. And then
your area based?
Yes, so correct? We have Belfast, Omagh, Enniskillen, Derry, Londonderry and Dublin currently. We are wide, and they're blending into Monaghan, Donegal. Like there's progression going.
It's a big group.
But it doesn't. If it's Belfast, that also means we cover the area. We're in Bangor, we're in Ards, etc. So Belfast we have kind of designated employment officers for specific trust areas, and then we cover the wide range, Belfast Trust, etc.
And I would really encourage anybody who is, feeling nervous as a parent or carer to just contact and have a chat.
Absolutely, come in for a coffee. Yeah,
because I know that even personally, someone in our family then was able to reach out and be like, we're not sure what to do here. Our young person is about to kind of, or has already left, and we're not really sure. We'd love to get employment, driving lessons, all of those things. And then our group really helped just steer that, which, so credit to you.
There's no age. You don't need to begin at 16. Right. Begin at 65.
Cool.
Come in. You want to do something, let's
65-year-olds, let's go.
Yeah.
Get them in those social groups. I love that, Phoebe. And I think it's such an important resource to know about. We're going to kind of round up here. And the way that I want to do this in these podcasts, we're going to do something called Quick Equip. It's a hard one to say. You've got to really enunciate that. So I'm going to do rapid fire. You ready for this? Get a sip. Okay. One tool or resource that you love.
Plug Jam card.
Oh, what's that?
So within Now Group, our participants have made a card called the Jam card. It stands for just a minute.
Yeah.
So you may see around Belfast little stickers up in the window of a jam pot.
Yeah.
Say jam.
All over the buses, aren't they, as well?
Yes, Translink, everyone. So we're trying to get all the businesses in Belfast and beyond covered. So it is, say you're on a bus and they ask for $3.50 and you've got your coins, but it takes you a bit of time to process money.
Longer. Yeah.
You show your jam card. Just a minute. It can say on the back, just a minute, I have a learning difficulty, I have autism. There's different titles. You show that, they know. Perfect.
How do I access one of those?
www.nowgroup.org.
Fantastic. I'll be reciting this. A mindset that helps you.
Oh, I always think
personally, professionally,
to have fun. And also, I always think in terms of the social side of things. Sorry, this isn't very quick of me. But on the social side of things, if I'm having a bad day, but this may be one person's 2 hours of social time they have in a week to go in and have the best time. Like go in with your best
Lovely.
Do your best
With
all the time.
Yeah, I love that. Show up.
Yes.
Yeah, great. And one piece of advice.
Oh my gosh.
Such a general one, really,
One
isn't
piece
it?
of advice. Oh, that is.
If you were saying, let's make it a little bit more contextual, might be easier. So, one piece of advice that if somebody is listening to this, say, and they don't have any experience with young people with additional needs, and they're like, oh, I didn't think I could do that without it. What would your piece of advice be?
Come and volunteer.
Oh, great. Oh, that's a really good piece of
volunteer.
advice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, can volunteer with an eye group.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether it
Come
be
to all your
1
fun
hour a
social
week,
bits.
2 hours a week.
That's a really good one, actually, because I've had a lot of people asking me this recently. So, young people who are maybe thinking about becoming a classroom assistant, go and volunteer for the night group.
School placements, voluntary roles. Yeah.
So good. Love that. Phoebe, thank you so much.
A joy and
we
an
could
honour.
obviously have sat here and talked forever.
Yep.
But the point of this is we're trying to be, within that, to keep it short and sweet. And I hope that that was really useful for everybody. I'm sure it was. And Phoebe, thank you, because there's such insight there as well. I hope that something has inspired you, you've enjoyed it, taken away, sparked a new idea, or simply reminding. I think that's a big part of even what you were saying today, Phoebe, that you're not alone in this. Like, there are people out there who deeply care and want to support you and you're a young person, and who will. You'll meet people like the gorgeous Phoebe in your journey, and gosh, won't you be blessed to meet her. So thank you so much, Phoebe, and thanks for spending time with us on Eden Equips.